Hi. My name is Charlotte. I'm 29 and I want to tell you my story. I want to warn you right away, it is not for children's ears. Also, there is no need to look for some deep meaning or hidden morality in it. They are not there. This is just a case from my life, which, in principle, can happen to anyone. You don't need to condemn or shame me either. You can just envy. But only in silence. So, let's get started. I was born and raised in a small, quiet provincial town where everyone knows everything about each other and has known each other since birth. When residents of a megalopolis get to such a place, they initially begin to drool with emotion and, hiccuping with delight, talk about how good it would be to settle here and raise children, no traffic jams, no city noise, clean air, and zero crime. This is about how my future husband, a native New Yorker, reasoned when, while still a fiancé, he came with me to meet my parents. However, it was enough for exactly 3 days. And then he roared like a buffalo wounded by an Indian arrow in the scrotum. And saying that he was ready to love both my city and my parents more than life, But from the other side of the country, he took me away to finish our vacation at sea. To be honest, I thought it would last at least 5 days, but then I underestimated the evil tongue of my mother, then still full of strength and venom of a sweet and pretty woman. Over the past 8 years of our marriage, their relationship has not improved. Therefore, you will understand why I come to visit my parents a couple of times a year. With children. And without a husband. When COVID started, my parents came down with pneumonia, a very high fever and other charms. When I found out that they were really bad, I left the children with my husband, agreed at work that I was moving to a remote location and flew to my father's nest. The parents suffered the disease very hard, age and chronic diseases affected, however, nothing critical happened and they were slowly recovering. I have a lot of free time, and this, as it is said in many sacred texts, is never good for a woman. Before I left for college, when I was still living with my parents in our town, my first love was the eldest son of our neighbors, Joe. Handsome, athletic, captain of the school football team. We have been friends since childhood. We constantly disappeared from each other's houses and, together with his younger brother Luke and a couple of other neighborhood guys, we regularly got into various small funny altercations. Although Joe was 5 years older than me, his technical knowledge of the art of love was not much superior to mine. In general, we helped each other lose our virginity, and after that we proudly began to consider ourselves a couple. We dated for about a year, and then he went to college and, although we swore eternal love to each other, but after a couple of months I realized that he already had another one there. When you're young, you experience everything acutely and dramatically, but not for long. Tired of grieving for Joe, I fell victim to the persistent advances of his brother Luke. He was a completely different person than his brother, both in appearance and in character. Probably, comparing him with his brother, I already realized that in a man, of all the muscles, the brain is most important to me. However, what you thought is also extremely important. When Joe came home for Christmas, as I understood it, he first tried to arrange some sort of showdown with his brother about me, but then they apparently quietly, fraternally divided me, and after that we all communicated perfectly. However, our relationship with Luke did not last long either. We both graduated from the senior class and went our separate ways. In college, I literally immediately fell into the strong hands of my future husband. After graduation I married him. In the same year I gave birth to my first child and the carousel started, work home mortgage. As I said, my husband's relationship with my mother didn't work out right away. Nevertheless, several times a year, I always came with the children to visit my parents for a couple of days. And naturally, these days I met with many of my childhood friends, including with my brothers, and even visited the elder at the wedding. We all have different lives. Both of their first marriages were unsuccessful and broke up. Joe generally returned to his hometown, lives with his parents and works as a physical education teacher at a local school. And Luke ended up in Silicon Valley after university. In general, after the end of the pandemic, our entire old company turned out to be assembled. Everyone was supposed to leave very soon, and therefore, without postponing everything for later, we found ourselves at a barbecue. The meat turned out to be simply delicious. And naturally, there was a lot of alcohol for such meat. In the end, everyone got emotional, someone even shed a tear, and even I, the venerable mother of the family, had a little too much and did incredible things on the dance floor. Well, then it was even more fun, because I woke up in the same bed with two brothers. And judging by the specific feelings and fragments of memories, we were engaged in more than dancing yesterday. Now I am writing all this and I understand that it is definitely not worth telling my husband about it, although he is aware of my children's novels. However, to say that I'm sorry, no. I don't regret anything. It was a wonderful experience. The guys were on top. Probably, every girl in the depths of her soul dreams of a threesome when all the attention is directed at her. But as a rule, the fear of publicity and disappointment holds back. And, here I am 100% sure that all this will remain between us, and the guys are their own, almost relatives, verified. Friends, what do you think? Does it count with exes or not? Thank you if you listened to the end. Like it. And subscribe so that you don't miss anything.